Hey, it's Joe Blasco right here with Kenny Myers, and we've been talking about PPI, Premier Products Incorporated. And so, Kenny,
Yep.
let's go through a few of these products that we
Please.
have right here. Let's talk about these, and I'm going to put a few of them right over here if I may. I'll hold these up.
Glazing gels, just invented product. However, we've taken a product from England and taken it a little bit further. There's a fabulous company called Makeup International out of London, I believe it is, that has about 3 or 4 dye colors in a gel form. You can make some very nice bruises with them, but I always felt that they hadn't taken the idea far enough. Had worked on a show last summer where I needed to do just that, and I had been working on this for a few years. These are a transparent staining gel, and by staining I don't mean anything permanent at all. Now that's you want to do about just a corner of that, and it will blend out. Nicely done. And you can throw a transparent glaze onto skin.
I can feel it setting.
Yep. And
It's
it will
beautiful.
dry quickly.
Beautiful.
And originally I had made the first few colors to do just that, reproduce some effect stuff.
Look at that.
Mainly for this reason. Occasionally you'll get an actor who has an aversion to an alcohol activated material,
Yeah.
and they would prefer you use something water-based. And this was my answer to that. But fortunately, it's gone a great deal farther than that. I had let friends test this on various shows to various degrees, and I kept finding I wanted more and more colors to do more and more things.
Now, by friends, you mean
Literal friends in the
acquaintances.
industry,
Okay.
V. Neal,
Okay.
Vivian Baker,
Not the store.
Billy Corso, a lot of folks that I hang with and trust their opinion. Doug No. I'm trying to think of others. Forgive me if I haven't brought up their names.
There's a beautiful, if I may say, there is a beautiful translucency to this.
Correct.
It's in spreading it. It had just the perfect spreading time. It dried beautifully. It still, even while it was drying, it still enabled me to be able to move it and to make it exactly the way I wanted it. And you can still see the natural skin color coming through it. It's really a beautiful product, and it comes in all of these colors.
Here's what I like about, and again, why this has gone further. HD, as you know, can be a very unforgiving
Yes.
material.
Yes.
As a medium. HD, not a material, but a medium. And if you come in really tight on somebody, and you're doing a character work, you don't want that makeup to show. Well, I have found that you can use these gels, put that on, that's the sunburn one.
Yes.
Sunburn one.
Yeah.
These materials allow you to get effects without ever being able to see a pigment trail.
Yes.
And
Fantastic.
one of the first to use them extensively was makeup artist Vivian Baker on a number of shows,
We're going to be talking to Vivian in
which
just a moment.
she'd be great to talk to. But because she's used them extensively, they're being used extensively now on a number of shows. And from anything from just making a tired look to a slightly sick look to a little bit of tan to filling in where there's a white line from a tan line from glasses or straps, as well as reproducing very close-up HD bruisings,
Yes.
different stages.
Yes.
Yes, your standard theatrical bruise, which is
Yes.
the bright yellow and a gray tone and
Yes,
a
and
purple,
purple.
to stuff that's so real, what I call police hold it right here,
Yes.
realistic.
Yes. Yes.
And so we're very excited about this line. And then in turn, this line spawned yet another one, which is under construction right now, which are lip glazes.
Excellent.
Because I can do the same thing for lips that this does for makeup.
What about eyeshadows?
Yeah, Vivian is using it extensively as contouring around the eye,
Yes.
as eyeshadows, and or a basis for a normal eyeshadow.
Yes.
Any combination.
Now, because this is it's water resistant.
It's water resistant, I tell you, because it is a stain. It goes in and bonds to the skin, and it holds up in extreme hot areas. It holds up in, I will say, anything but a downpour.
Yes.
And I formulated it to be extremely clean, and by that I mean, in the past there have been many companies that have done gels.
Yes.
But they're usually doing gels that They make them all-purpose cheek and lip, and I find they have a tendency to wipe out way too easy.
Yes.
Way too easy. So when I did the original formulations, I would do them up, send them out, and wait for the feedback. And the feedback came in the guise of, I want more color,
Yes.
not less. Can I have a little more glide
Yes.
for control? And that is what brought us here.
Yes.
The material came out at last year's trade show and has exploded
Yes.
worldwide.
Yeah. It's very unique.
It is unique. And again, I would thank the original company, Makeup International, who took the original idea. Unfortunately, there was only 4 or 5 colors, and I felt that it could go a great deal further.
Well, you've certainly taken a great deal forward. Look at this. Look at all these products here. It's an amazing array of colors.
And we'll actually be showing some of these at our afternoon demo, which I'm really slating as Skin Illustrator for beauty artists. Since Skin Illustrator is
Excellent.
mostly known as an effects material,
Excellent.
I want to show people why they should have it in their kit for non-effects situations.
Yes. Now, how is this? Let's say I wanted to use this as an HT product as a foundation.
Okay.
Is it accepted, or could it be used as a foundation if I were to take a sea sponge
Mm-hmm.
and just dampen it, take all of the water out of it, so that all I had was a damp sea sponge,
Mm-hmm.
and then put a little of this onto a container? Would it spread and go on as a foundation, a transparent foundation for HD, if I just wanted to impart color?
There are no real pigmented bases within here. However, if you were to use some of the tan ones we have and those that are being developed right now,
Yes, yes.
you'll be able to put a tan on someone
Yes.
that will be controllable. You know what happens if you put some tan materials on somebody with some red in them like me?
Yes, yes.
Bam, you're orange.
Yes.
So you want a series of control stains, transparent stains,
Yes.
to introduce that tan.
Yes.
Yes, that would work.
Yes.
We are finding that you can put this on with white sponge.
Yes.
Have not tried a damp
Foam
sea
rubber.
sponge.
Foam
Foam
rubber.
rubber.
But since it's
Blush brushes?
water soluble.
Yes, it should absolutely work
Yes,
with
it should work, but not the sponge. If you try it with a sea sponge, just enough to make it soft,
Right.
To soften the
That's
sponge.
it.
There can't be any more water in it, or you'll blow the formulation of the product.
I find that in some instances I'll mix a little bit of the gel with a little bit of moisturizer.
Yes.
For glide,
Yes,
especially like the Red 3, which will give you a pretty intense sunburn.
is there a liquid extender, so to speak?
There's a clear gel extender. These
Yes.
are a gel primarily,
yes.
but I already have an offshoot of these called glazing sprays, which we also introduced at the trade show
For
last year.
airbrush?
For airbrush. So you
Excellent.
could throw on a light tan, you could
Yes.
throw on that sunburn,
Yes.
anything like that.
Yes, brilliant,
Fun stuff.
really brilliant. And now for use on appliances?
No,
No,
made for skin. However, they do work on gelatin.
on gelatin.
Yeah, they
That's
do work on
interesting.
gelatin. If you wanted to tint something that way. So,
But what if you had an appliance already made up?
if you had an appliance made up and you
With packs or with appliance makeup, and it's all prepped and
It
ready
does-
to go. Can
it-
you put this over it?
yes, in some instances, yes. It doesn't work well over anything that's heavily sealed. But if you put down, let's say, a Pax and then a little rubber mask grease,
Yes.
these would work.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear you say rubber mask grease.
Oh, you know what?
I don't feel so old now.
I tell you, rubber mask grease has never 100% left the area, and I'm glad because it has a place.
Yes.
Like everything else. I mean, I've had some lovely calls from people who say, I don't do a makeup without Skin Illustrator. I did it all in Skin Illustrator, and all I could think of is, why? It wasn't designed for that. I mean, kudos to you if you did it and if it helped you in some way.
Yes, yes.
But-
Well, it certainly helped them to understand how to apply Skin
Right.
Illustrator. Right.
If nothing else. But it was never intended for that,
Yes.
that specific or purity of use.
Yes.
Although it can be in many instances.
Yes.
But, and thank you very much for doing so. But realize it's designed to be layered. Layered, layered,
Yeah,
layered.
transparency. Fantastic. That's excellent. All right, where are we here? Let's see. Let's start with that product, which was the very first product.
Perfect.
Right, that you invented. And you have green marble sealer, and now we have blue marble,
marble sealer.
Let's talk about green marble sealer.
Green Marble Sealer, again, firstborn between Richard Snell and myself. We found that it worked extremely well, especially in the old days where you were doing a lot of rubber mask grease. This would seal it and sure make the costume people stop eating our behinds.
This is terrific.
We then found in concentrated form, when mixed with a clay,
Yes.
it made an excellent close-up stretch and stipple for aging.
Really?
Used on a lot of films.
When you say a
films.
clay, you mean like a Fuller's Earth?
Like a
filler, just a filler, yes.
Not Fuller's Earth, Adagel, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
exactly. Okay.
And on our website there are it shows you how to mix it to get varying degrees of wrinkle.
Right.
What I like about it is how close the camera can get, and it dissolves into the skin. You
Yes.
cannot see it working.
Still looks real. It looks real.
And it lasts all day that way.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And it's alcohol based.
This is an alcohol base as a sealer.
Yeah. Now, in the old days, when I used to do my sealers, we used to take VYNS, the vinyl resin,
Oh, yes.
and dilute it down with acetone.
Oh, yes.
You know, and in fact, that was one of the original formulas that I worked out with Ben Nye for his sealers. We used to take, for aging, stretch the skin, paint it on. It's just a plastic sealer.
Right.
And then it would dry instantly. You could just let it go. You don't have to powder it.
Perfect.
And it would work. But now this, I'm going to tell you something. Firstly, it's called green marble sealer because there's a little green marble down in the bottom, which is really, really convenient because it helps. If there are any of the solids that go down that settle to the bottom, the green marble is going to disperse them perfectly. And I use this to float beards off.
That's interesting that you would say that. That's neat.
And I also, I showed in my book, Volume 1, how to groom after you trim a beard, how to groom it with this instead of using hairspray.
I didn't know that.
And I'm talking about a real beard, not an artificial, not artificially applied.
Right.
A real beard, how to make it perfect, and it stays
there.
absolutely perfect. Especially handlebar mustaches.
Oh boy, aren't they a pain in the butt?
Great product for that.
Especially in hot and humid weather.
Yes.
Yep.
So tell me more about this.
It's different than any other sealer on the market. That is just a fact. Many of the sealers are vinyl.
Yes.
This is not. And it's why it's so different, and it's why it's a pain in the and I say that with loving care. It's a pain in the It's a pain in the
say that.
Because in cold weather, some of the solids will form in the bottom. And what we normally would do is just throw it in a little hot water, and it's ready to go again. And that's what the pain in the is, especially if it's a cold morning. However, I'll tell you this, Joe, it has saved my so many times.
Yes.
It's why Richard and I said, you know what,
Yes.
I think other people might like to play with this.
I think the advantages of it far outweigh the disadvantages.
Good.
That one little disadvantage that you've just mentioned is I don't think that it may be 2% of 100% of your daily routine it would ever come into play. I think that you've got a fantastic product here. Now, what's the difference outside of the color of the marble?
Right.
Between the blue marble and the green and the blue marble.
People had always asked after I'd come out with this one, well, why don't you come out with a water-based
Yes.
acrylic version, of which there are many. There are vinyl and
Yes,
acrylics.
yes.
And there are many excellent ones out there.
Yeah, I used to use and still do occasionally, the Fixier spray.
Yes.
From
Kryolan, you betcha. And my answer was the same as it's always been on anything I make. Why improve on perfection unless I have something I think is better?
Right, exactly.
And I had been working on this now for about 4 years. Again, water-based, extremely light,
Nice.
and a great hold, slightly lighter than anything else on the market
Yes.
with just the same amount of hold.
Really?
And completely water resistant.
Wow.
I can say waterproof, but I don't. Because any waterproof sealer that's an acrylic base, if you rub it, will come
it'll
off.
break down. Yeah.
However, it does hold up to rain and shower
Yes.
and everything else.
Yes.
So
Excellent.
that's why blue marble sealer.
Excellent. Fantastic. Now, do you use these in conjunction ever with the palettes?
Everything.
With everything.
Beauty makeup.
To seal it all in.
Beauty makeup, no matter whose, beauty makeup and Illustrator for layering. So
Yes.
because I've actually, because of my use of it, been able to get up to as high as 8 layers freehand.
Yes.
Some people can't get past a couple before they feel like they're starting to eat into the layer below.
Yes.
You do a light dusting with a
Yes,
sealer,
very light.
and you've got another couple of layers you can
Now,
do.
can this be used with an airbrush?
Yes.
I would think so.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I would think that this could also be used for setting hair in a pinch.
Absolutely.
For floating beards
Yep.
also.
Yep.
And now, one thing that I ran into that was a bit of a problem with one of the fixure sprays, in fact, it was a medical fixure spray that I was experimenting with to float a beard.
Right.
We found that once we had sprayed it, it held it all together.
Right.
But then we began to remove it with the acetone or alcohol. And when we'd push our fingers into the hair,
Yep.
it would stay there.
It would stay there.
You see,
Yeah.
because the adhesive itself was a self-adhesive.
Right.
But I don't believe that will occur with this.
It shouldn't occur with the blue marble. I cannot say that I've tried it yet, but it dries.
Yes.
You would have more of a problem with that with blue marble, or green marble.
Green marble, yes.
Because its tack is much higher.
Yes. Now I'll tell you which one I don't see it here anywhere, but I used it, and I believe this is actually the one that I used for the beard in Volume 1. It was the skin barrier. Top Guard. There you go.
Yes.
Top Guard.
Yes.
You heard it first right here. Top Guard. And that was the one. If you look in Volume 1, you'll see that I used that.
Right.
So with Top Guard and green marble sealer and blue marble sealer, you've got, as a professional makeup artist, all of the products that you need for sealing purposes. And again, these were the first products that came out of your head, and I want to thank you for that. And I'm sure every
Thank you,
makeup
Joe.
artist out there around the world is equally appreciative of all the work that you've done.
Thank you. And Richard thanks you as well.
Yes. I wish that Richard could be here.
He is.
To share in this moment. We have a few here. Here's some plasma soap.
Right.
This is interesting. Tell us about plasma
Plasma soap actually goes with Fleet Street Bloodworks over there in the corner.
Here we go. Fleet Street. All righty.
And this comes out of a partnership with Lois Burwell, English makeup artist now residing in the States.
Yes.
And when we started a little picture called The Last Samurai,
Yes.
we were using
A little picture.
A little picture. We were using a blood out of England. Forgive me, why it escapes me, I have no idea.
Gore, was it Gore
Makeup,
something?
no, it's called Makeup, Maekup, made by David, listen, my
Really?
apologies to David. And it was unique because the blood dries.
It's great color.
And getting it in the States was extremely difficult.
This is fantastic.
For a number of reasons, both supply line and shipping and customs and everything else. And so Lois and I went into business and brought that technology here.
No, this can't be used in the mouth.
No, I would never use it in the mouth. It has a polymer in it which will set and
Yes.
holds up to just about anything, yet comes off with soap and water.
Again, you've progressed. You've progressed the technique. And what I used to do is I'd take a blood-colored color from the palette,
Right,
and put it on,
right,
and then I'd take a shiny sealer,
right.
and go over it after it stained the
Right.
skin.
Oh, yeah.
I'd go over it with a shiny sealer that would be thick.
Yep.
It'd be it'd have a viscosity to it, so that it would look as though
It was three-dimensional.
three-dimensional, and it would look like wet blood.
I still do that same technique
Yeah.
today with KY jelly.
There you are.
And now, again, in the interest of having a variety of tools for folks, I'll still put down a blood tone from the effects palette,
Yes.
and or put this over top of it, and yet use this to smear around it
Yes, yes.
in different tones. We also have thick versions in a lymphatic brown
Oh, yeah.
and a blood tone
Yes.
and a scab tone.
Yes.
And between them, you get incredible depth
Yes,
to wounds.
yes.
Again, not to short any other blood on the market because they're all fabulous.
so many
This is
great
just
bloods.
a little different,
Right.
and why I went ahead with it.
Yeah.
Now, to answer your question is, these are FDA pigments, and unlike, there are some bloods on the market here which I don't believe are using FDA pigments. That is a danger that we all have to be aware of safety-wise. Yes, they solve some problems for you, but they can cause some others. I'm not going to mention them. I just say, please read labels.
Yes.
As such, FDA pigments in red do have some stainability. I have found very little in this because of the polymer action that allows it to dry.
Yes.
But just as a precaution, I put out plasma soap,
Plasma soap.
which will help take off any residue, even from other brands, that you may get.
Oh, I see. This is a very viscous
Yes.
material.
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. Let me try this. And does this have any relationship to the Super Solve?
None.
None.
None whatsoever. This is not a solvent. This is a collection of natural soaps.
Oh, I see. It's a water-based
Yes,
product.
absolutely.
It's excellent. Very
Now,
good.
these bloods can be cut with either water or alcohol, or even better yet, a 50-50 mix.
Of water and alcohol.
Right.
I see.
And
That's fantastic.
again, the two
And-
colors is that some people like their bloods dark.
Yes.
I like mine very fresh, and I like to mix them.
Yes.
I like to mix them
Like an
on-
arterial
That's right.
and a venous
And I
blood.
don't want to like to mix them I like to mix them in visual layers.
Yes, I do.
Put down the
exactly
black and then
same
bring
thing,
up the light.
yes. I did a makeup on one of our previous episodes,
Hmm.
and by accident, I poured a little too much blood onto it.
None of
But
us
we
have ever
cut
done
that
that.
part out, so you didn't get to see that. But it stained the arm so beautifully.
Hmm.
Then I thought to myself, what am I going to do to make this, to repair this?
Yeah.
So I went in and I added, some sealers
Yes.
over it that were shiny sealers
Right.
that made that stain of blood on the skin look three-dimensional.
Look the way you want it.
So
Perfect.
again, following your building up in layers,
Right.
you see. And now, do you have an arterial blood color also made in this?
That,
or
you mean a
which
light?
one?
You mean a light?
Yeah, the lighter
that,
one.
That would be the light one right there.
fresh one.
Yes. When that dries, it dries to absolute bright flesh.
Excellent.
Fresh
Like
blood color.
from the long, let's
You
say,
betcha.
some of the color.
Right.
Okay. And then the dark one would be more of the classic blood or the aged blood.
Right.
Okay, fantastic. How's it come out of wardrobe?
Beautifully.
Excellent.
I myself did tests on linen.
Really?
Yeah, and we
Excellent.
still let it sit for 48 hours before we washed it out. Came out with standard detergents.
Glazing gel remover. Obviously, it's designed for these products.
Yes, and now
Yes.
that is a bit of a misnomer, and we're changing this. We called it remover because what's interesting about the gels is the longer you let the gel sit, the deeper that tone will go in for you.
Yes.
But then, of course, you're liable to get a hard line. So you
Yes.
put a little of this on a Q-tip, and you
Yes.
can soften that edge right out. So you'll get lots of highs and lows
Oh, I see.
in the bruise
So this
itself.
is part of the application process.
It can be.
Yes.
And but it could also be used as a remover. However, since we've done this, I have found that some skins, not all, some skins will get a slight tingle.
Yes.
From, again, it's a soap.
Yes.
It's a natural soap.
Yes.
But I'd rather not have a tingle than have a tingle.
Yes, yes.
So we're working on now an additional very soft, mild soap substitute that we've already found that works really well, completely removing this from the face. Let's say
Yes.
you were done with your makeup.
Yes.
You were doing a complete sunburn.
Yes.
And I would offer that up first as a cleanser.
Yes.
And this as an adjustment medium.
I see.
Again, we'll hopefully get a chance to show some of your students
Yes.
how this works.
And you're going to be doing a demo today.
Yes.
Right? Very, very good. Let me see, what do we have here? This is dry, a topical spray, and I don't have my glasses on. You have to forgive me. Let's see.
Let's both go in.
Okay, a topical spray for minimizing perspiration. Oh, I see. Okay, this is kind of a non-shine or anti-shine type.
It's
of
actually more of an antiperspirant.
antiperspirant
For under bald caps or in
I
wigs.
see, I see.
There's a couple out there, again, some of the
aluminum
companies are being...
chlorhydrate. Okay, great.
some of the companies
Boy,
are
do I
being
wish you would have
inconsistent.
had this around whenever Richard Nixon was over at ABC.
Oh, boy.
Because Rudy Horvatish and I would do President Nixon's makeup, and he would perspire from his upper lip, and I had to. Rudy sent me out over. He says, "You got to go over to the drugstore right away." He says, "And I need some Mitchum's antiperspirant." I said, "Okay, if that's what you need." So I ran over, and I didn't know what he was going to do with it. I thought he was going to use it himself, because the president was coming in. He wanted to smell good, right? So he opens this stuff up and he slathers it all over President Nixon's upper lip and lets it sit there and dry. Then he buffs off the excess. Then he proceeds with the makeup. And I wasn't going to say anything, far be it from me to question Rudy Horvatish and what he was doing to President Nixon. But this is exactly what we needed then.
Yeah.
Terrific. I'm glad to know. We now have it. All right. So, moving right along, we've got Beta Bond. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about this.
Alrighty.
This is an appliance adhesive, and this is more or less. This has become the adhesive. Outside of the Telesis 5.
Right.
This is similar. Would you say this is similar to, if we had to compare it to, like a Prosade of sorts?
Yes,
This
but
would
again,
be-
slightly different. They have different tack characteristics.
Yes.
And
Tell us about it.
I use this a little. I don't use it a lot, but I have many friends that live and die by it.
Yes.
We'll actually be putting on a nose today using Beta Bond,
Over
as
here.
I recall.
This is Beta Bond. Okay.
Outside of tack differences, I tell you, there's a Beta Solve that between the two, it comes off like a dream. As you know, Prosade, and it's not, again, to malign anybody because they're all fantastic products.
Yes.
Sometimes getting Prosade off can be a bear.
Yes.
And I think that was the best innovation Premier did with
Yes.
the Beta Bond series.
Yes.
Was the two together,
Yes.
and it holds like it holds really well, and then
You could say
comes
it.
off. Holds like a mother.
Yes. All right, now, if you were doing a gelatin appliance,
Yes.
Can you coat the entire underside of the gelatin appliance with this?
You
And-
can.
And
But always seal it first. Always seal it first.
seal it first, okay.
Always.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, there's a couple more here. A few more products. These are wonderful products, and I really hope that all of you out there worldwide have been taking notes, all right? And if you haven't been taking notes, then wait for the program to come back around, because as you know, we repeat 3-4 times a day, depending on how long the programming is, and you'll be able to get a complete lesson on all the Premier products. We've got here, now this is, we've been through
Yep.
Telesis adhesive.
We live and die by
and
that
then we
as
have the
well.
thinner, which
Yep.
obviously I think we've discussed that as well. We've been through Super Solve Plus. And are there any others here that we need to,
Well-
this is something, what's this?
Well, this is some colors that I began a few years back for outlining and painting tattoos. The one is an aged liner, which is a blue-green liner, and then one is an aged black. We show them at the trade show every year. However, this year, at this year's trade show, we have a surprise for a lot of folk. We'll be coming out with a brand-new palette, which will incorporate these two
Great.
for specifically doing tattoos. So they always went in this kind of a container because I only had the two colors.
These are terrific containers. I like the open mouth, the size here, the open mouth container, and the colors are terrific. You can see
Thank you,
the
Joe.
colors are right on the money.
Now, you know, there's one product we have, which we don't have a bottle of, but it's based off Activator right there in front of you. This Activator, now, most tattoo colors will activate with 99% alcohol. The inherent problem with that is putting 99% alcohol under the nose of an actor.
Yeah.
They have a tendency not to like it. So our Activator is a 70% SD40 alcohol, which is a perfume-grade alcohol. And every year we petition the FDA to try to allow us to put in more and more and more. The reason they don't like it is it's too close to drinkable and distillable
see.
alcohol. But it is.
And they know all about makeup people.
Oh boy, do they! You know, one for the actor, one for me.
That's
One
right.
for the actor, two for me.
It was like Lon Chaney Jr. He had Ben Kehoe empty out all the spirit gum bottles, and they were filled with Jack Daniels.
Oh, Joe, if you got to fill them with something. But we've actually just created
Sorry, Ron.
a new activator called Slow Activator. And I know that everybody out there at some point or another has been in an air-conditioned trailer in 100-degree heat, and you're trying desperately to work your tattoo colors, and as you spray your alcohol, it's evaporating that fast. Sometimes it's hard to get it to the face. Slow Activator actually slows that reaction down, so you've got extra time to work. I originally created it for my wife, who's a hairstylist, so she could use the tattoos in the hairlines and on hair.
Yes.
And then we found that makeup artists who were in the same constraints of,
Yes.
boy, I just wish it wasn't so hot in here. I can't turn off the air conditioning because we'll all die. And if I don't, how do I get the makeup there? So hence, Slow Activator.
Yes, yeah, excellent, 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 excellent. Kenny, I just have to tell you, I'm really so sorry that we haven't talked before.
It's been
This
fun.
this has been a really great treat for me.
Oh, thank you. Me
And
too.
for everyone, you know, around the globe that's been listening to this, and I know that everybody's going to be talking about it. But you've got to promise me that you're going to come back again.
Let's come back.
Because
we'll come back, we'll talk.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll talk. I have some coffee, a little
schmear.
yeah, a little coffee cake. All right, ladies and gentlemen, master makeup artist, Mr. Kenny Myers from Premier Products. All right,
Thank you, Joe.
it's a pleasure. Thanks again. Don't you go away. We're going to be right back right after these words.